you cannot handle real world reality talk 80 plus language, simply skip the video.
So, let's do a little Monday thing. I record this video on Monday. I upload videos probably the next day. When it's about the normal vlogs, when it's about the series, I just drip feed them every 24 hours. Anyway, today it's Monday. If you watch my vlog for the first time, my name is Dalan Baron. At the moment located in Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm 46. Lived a very colorful life. Still don't live a regular life. Do everything from the phone. Anyway, let's do a little bit of recap. So I meet every single day a lot of people. I like to talk about life with those people in general. A lot of strangers, they also come to me. I started something new. People who are, let's say, not with mental issues, but people who are a little bit struggling with, let's say, the disciplines in life, thoughts about life, and people can contact me. A lot of people contact me through WhatsApp, Viber. I actually offered now also through Instagram. Like I said, I'm not over here to talk with people who are, you know, depressed and talk only about how bad life is and simply don't have any disciplines in their life. And that is also something, if, by the way, my vlogs are not for the people with very soft-hearted, quickly stepped on their toes, feel hurt by other people, their words, so you know it's better than to skip away now. But for the people who like to get out of this 9 to 5, get more engaged with reality, then you should watch. So let's go a little bit through the past, let's say 48 hours. Now let's do 72 hours. I'm taking things by the hours, not by the days. Today it's Monday, now I know it. Usually I don't know what day it is, because I'm doing everything from the phone, so I live a life of, I think, on a very high level of freedom. I'm in the upscaling phase of my life. Let's let this be very clear. At the moment I'm 46. I lost the last time everything when I was 41. Took my time to build an extremely strong, close network. People who are 100% trusted, and next to that I am opening to the world to speak with a lot of people. Now I'm in the upscaling phase that mainly is done by AI. We're not getting too deep into this. So one of the things from last week, the overall observation, the young people under the 25 that I speak with, everybody who trains responds immediately. Not only responds immediately, let's say in less than an hour, some even less than 5 minutes. They also follow up, not without having the intention to gain something from it, just to have a little talk. Some even ask how I'm doing, but most people also know that I'm not into how are you doing. I mostly ask, what are you doing? You know, that's a conversation starter, right? Because, you know, whether you're doing good or bad, who gives a shit? Nobody gives a shit in life, right? So when it's about people who do train and the people who don't train, the people who don't train or have any discipline in life, they always have the excuses, no matter how small they are. Yeah, I'm now busy with my wife. I am busy with my children. And for the people who have families now and feel stepped on their toes, let me tell you this. I got extremely high level contacts that have over, multiple people that have over 5 children. The runner-up has 8, always responds in less than 1 hour. Says something. So in case you think I got a child, Alan, but you don't have any children at 46, so you cannot judge anything. Yes, I do know. And when I also say, when I know people that is not only knowing, I sit with them on the table and there's always a bed ready to sleep for me over there. So that's also a difference. And how deep you going with relationships, are you engaged? So that's also what my vlogs are about, how deeply are you engaged with the other person? You play with your phone when you meet people, But anyway, let's get back to the people who actually train, that actually also set some sort of extra filter for me, because over the years I built a set of filters, So one of them is simply now non-negotiable. If people don't have some sort of discipline in place, let's say a little bit of training. See, the more they do, the better. Every day, and then the gates can open. When it's about speaking about life, possible business ventures, projects, I don't know what. Also, people who ask me to train with them. If you're watching this, there was one guy, he sent me a message. I did not respond because sometimes I really don't know what to say, because I know this guy has nothing in place, not one single discipline, which is obviously for me a non-negotiable thing. Oh shit, there are actually people coming. So anyway, besides that, so he said something, you need to help me rebuild myself, or something like this. Let me actually get the message. So this vlog, probably a lot of different topics, because this is just a vlog, not a series. Oh yeah, he says actually, you should help me rebuild myself, brother. Hey, if you're watching this, I'm just, I'm not mentioning your name, but the thing is, we both know that there is not any single sign of discipline. So where does it start, right? And in the past I did take people to the calisthenics spot or for a run, but you know what? That those are very singular events, and it does not have any compounding, let's say, benefits for me in the end. Let's say also not for the other person, because they get in pain, they stop doing it. So for this, if you're watching this again, the guy, you contacted me on Instagram. The thing is, you should help me rebuild. See, there's another thing about this, right? A lot of people say what they need or want. What are you gonna bring to the table? If you want something and somebody can help you with, for example, saving time, building muscle, and or become healthier, get a little bit clearer in the mind, and try to figure out what can you offer with very simple things. And until the 31st of August, people could offer me a beer and just have a talk. See, for me, it's not about, okay, I'm gonna offer you 100 euros or whatever. It's a gesture. If it's a total clean, I need or I want, without any gesture. And by the way, when it's about the 31st of August, I stopped drinking beer with alcohol. A lot of people also label, yeah, now you're drinking horse piss. So fuck it. After, see, I have always my periods. So now I was pretty much every day drinking a good amount of liters of beer with alcohol. Now I don't, already since the 31st of August. So now that, let's say, that window of opportunity is also closed. So people could, just, hey, you want to do a beer? Between 4, see, my day starts 5:15, between 4 and 7 at daytime, I do a beer and still meet people. I'm not sitting on the couch eating Cheetos and drinking beer. After that, I just continue. The beer also doesn't do anything to me anymore. If you watch my vlog before, I'm very open about everything. I use boatloads of drugs and alcohol. The thing is, I'm like Obelix, Obelix and Asterix. Obelix felt in the whole fucking pot with this power drink, what they need to drink to fight. And Asterix, the little guy, he needs to still drink it every time. But Obelix, he felt with his thing in the whole pot, and he doesn't need to take that drink anymore. But the thing is, I'm like that. I'm fucking high on life. It's also, when I think about it, yeah, I am actually constantly drunk and high at the same time. I'm high on life and drunk of life itself. Sounds maybe ridiculous, And maybe you think, yeah, no, yeah, I know very big famous people, no, yeah, like this guy Ozzy Osbourne, you know, he used way much more. Yeah, probably. But I used for a long time, and we're not over here balancing out or see who use the most. I'm just sharing. So that window of opportunity, buying me a beer to gain something, you know, something that benefits your life, that is off the table. And that's another thing, right? The window of opportunity. How many people really recognize opportunities? And that is also something. A lot of people, they have some sort of a timeline. You know, after 4 years I graduate from school. Another thing, if you go to school and focused on university, it's also better now to skip away, because you know I don't have the best. I'm not gonna give you the best feeling. So next, so I'm now polarizing the audience. YouTube algorithm. So carve this audience out for me that wants to do a little bit more in life and be a little bit more in the moment. I think being in the moment is also try to face reality every day a little bit more. Evaluate yourself. Evaluation is simply part of the game. That is something you're never gonna escape. Evaluation based upon statistics that you keep from yourself, your actions. See, I'm not into you know, counting my macros and all that kind of bullshit. Testosterone, 10 milligrams. No, I'm not into that. With all the respect to the people with and they're doing the testosterone, but we all know a lot of people who are on testosterone. They look like snowballs. Have with all the respect. Hey, you got also the people who know to make very very massive aesthetic physique, and that's something what I really respect. But you know, when it's about also testosterone, your body is growing like a madman. I talked also with a lot of, see, I'm not looking down on anybody. See, when my vlogs are all about mindset, you know, strong mindset, resilient. And there's a lot of people also talking about being stoic. You know, if you are just below, let's say below 35, most, I know a lot of 40 pluses, they're so very immature between the years because they lived a very, you know, school, maybe 5 girlfriends, knock her up, job. That is not a life where you can say, no, I learned a lot outside the box. Again, no disrespect, but there is no place to be, or that you can say, now I'm becoming stoic, so I'm not emotional, attached to any kind of outcome. No, because you don't know. I always tell the young people also, always be in the moment. Don't even talk about being stoic. Just go full emotional in it with a little bit of boundaries. And I used to be incredibly emotional when it's about going into relationships, you know, friendships, girlfriends, you know, without boundaries. Just actually giving myself away. Was I a people pleaser? No. But I had a level of loyalty that a lot of people don't deserve. That is also what I'm talking about a lot in my vlogs. You know, who deserves your loyalty? You know, how are engaged are they with you? The thing is, I'm also in my vlogs talking about and that you should start thinking about the circle that you're in now. And life gives you all the signs. If you don't feel good about people, or when you are in specific groups, they make you feel bad, and then you skip it over. But the thing is, and you just forget about, oh, it's him, it's her. You know what? I believe in this, and I'm 46 now. Went through a whole ballet, colorful ballet of people in different countries, but there is a silver lining in it, so I can say this up there. And I'm living now at the moment still in Sofia, Bulgaria. Anyway, when people giving you bad feelings, get rid of them. Cancer. Sounds horrible though. Yeah, I know. It's reality. Cut out the cancer. It's your life. It's only your life. And it's not about me, so you become a very selfish fuck. No, just engage with the world, set your boundaries. People who want to harm you, make you feel bad. So when it's about make you feeling bad, and that you feel disrespected or whatever, but repeat this, the whole cells in your body, you know, They're not happy with this, and you have to protect yourself, protect your body, protect your cells. And I know a lot of negative people. Well, they are slouching. You know, life is bad. But in the meantime, they have everybody alive. The family is alive, the brothers, the sisters, and everybody's alive. And they know their own parents and all that kind of stuff. They have their own bloodline. There's nothing to be worried about. And that is also sometimes a danger, right? When there's nothing to be worried about, you also don't have to. Or have to. I think you know, a feeling of gratitude, of a real, genuine attitude of gratitude. Yeah, that needs to be genuine, because otherwise it also doesn't work. Anyway, total different topic. Let's finish this talk about this guy that he said, you need to get me in shape, brother. Yeah, see, the thing is, figure out something that you can bring to the table, right? And there's also something asking polite. Would you be willing? And there's another thing. Would you be willing to explain me something about the way a structure? And because my structure is very, let's say it like this. When it's about my training structure, I do my runs. Now I'm increasing my runs to around 200 kilometers a month. My disciplines, when it's about the calisthenics, are always, the baseline is always dips plus knee raises, as in the most strict form possible. So dips, knee raises, pull up, knee raises, and then on the parallel bars, knee raises to the bar. Of course, there's a lot of variations, but each, so there are 3 basis exercises, pretty all over body, pull up and then knee raise, dips plus knee raise, and it always goes like this: 1 of each. So 1 time dips plus knee raises, 1 time pull up and knee raise, and then 1 this, and then the second time 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then backwards 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, 1. So that is the baseline structure. Next to that, a lot of calf raises, forward lunges, backward lunges, but those are all extras. The baseline is non-negotiable. So when I'm, for example, I talked about this yesterday with a guy. Even when I had 40 degrees, 39 plus degrees fever, I still do it. And a lot of people say, yeah, what is true about that? Well, it is true, trust me on this one. The thing is, that's my relentless discipline, non-negotiable. And this is the thing that needs to be done. And I'm not telling you what to do, but people also, when it's about, and I'm swirling a little bit around about getting into training with this guy, he's not gonna do this every day. So, and is this, if I knew that he would start doing, that I give him a structure, do it every single day, a little amount, even if it's a little amount, then I don't have problems with anybody to talk about. But the moment that people give their word, yes, I'm gonna do it, and then 7 days later you meet him, oh, my hip hurts. I know one guy, I think he was 31, I know one guy, but you know, I bump into a lot of people, and when you see them on a regular basis or once per 3 months, you get the picture. I always talk a little bit, but this guy, 31-year-old, don't mentioning your name, using this as a very simple example, 31, driving around on a tiny bike, a BMX, and complaining about his hip is hurting, and that's why he cannot train. Well, when your hips are hurting, look, you got fingers, you got hands, you got arms, you got all kind of other stuff. And when it's about pain, just push it through. And this is also another thing. When people trained with me in the past for free, you know, now I'm charging. The thing is, when people in the past trained with me, they say they're gonna do all kind of stuff, but they don't. They simply do it once. I did it with multiple people. It's a waste of time. They do it once, and then you know, after half a year, you know, I'm not keeping in contact with a lot of people. And then you see, I look them on Facebook. No, they only grow, and not in the right areas. They grow on the hips, they grow on the beer bellies, and and with all the respect, that is all good because a lot of women love the dad bod, right? That's what they say, and that's why that's why they hire strippers on their wedding day. Yeah, I think it's all, and there's no disrespect to women. I also think it's going also the other way around. Men, women like to keep it easy. The majority of the people like to keep it easy. You know, somebody you can control. You sync with them, that is all fun. But I'm gonna say this again, when you're 65 and you look back on your life and you think, oh shit, maybe I should have asked this girl out, but I didn't have the balls, or I should have getting into this project or venture. You know, I failed so many times, you don't want to know, it's ridiculous. But I also took a lot of life lessons from it, mentally, physically, everything, and now I can speak about it. I lived in multiple countries, I lost in multiple countries my everything, not only my business wise, financial wise, my own dignity, but I rebuild it, so I became resilient. And it's the same with everything that feels negative, including the pain of a little bit of training. What I'm saying now at this point in my life, something is painful, quadruple on it. Just quadruple on it. Heartbreak, go full throttle. And I'm also always saying this, don't act like a slut. So don't give yourself away, but sell yourself. But sell yourself not as a prostitute, but sell your qualities. You know, this is what you bring to the table. Your hyperactive character, your very genuine interest in other people, your compassion for animals. Talk about it, not brag about it, but just act like it. You know, there's also another thing, right? A lot of people, and they speak how enthusiastic they are, you know. At daytime they run around in a suit, smile. I know one guy, well, let me think about it. Yeah, I meet him multiple times in one of the malls here, walks around in a suit, a smile from ear to ear, but that is only when he walks into you, and when you see him a little bit from the side, yeah, he's not that smiling. And that's another thing, right? How authentic you go through life. You want to be as authentic as possible because that gives you, your life, the most fulfillment. Be as real as possible. Evaluate yourself every single day. Be real to other people. People can feel it. And children, great indicators. They know, oh papa, oh mama, that's a bad man. But also the other way around, reverse engineer. Children are a great indicator what papa or mama are like, you know. Let me give you a little bit an example. So for when I come to, let's say I already know that the guy is a weak guy, lived his whole life in one village, with all the respect, but brags that he's like this. And the moment that people are bragging, then I'm always interested in where is this coming from, because bragging comes from weakness, right? The thing is, and then the son grabs his father by his leg, oh daddy, because he never saw a colored person. By the way, when it's about colored that I'm looking like this, I'm adopted by white people. A long time ago, they went upstairs, and let's say it like this, if you're religious, they went to heaven. But you know, you can see, father, mother, child. When the child drops, oh my God. Now yeah, you already know where this goes. This guy is gonna end up in university and probably gonna be 65, retired, and complain about the world. Sounds so negative though. Yeah, that sounds very negative. The thing is, that's a thing about regret, right? Be as real as possible, because you don't want to lay down in your hospital bed when you're 65, and you might think, yeah, Dallon, I'm not going to be in my hospital bed when I'm 65. I'm healthy as a fish. But you know what? Look at your disciplines. Do you put in the work to keep the whole machine working? And again, that is an honesty thing, right? Do you hang around with people who look the same like you? Just take a look around. And this is your life. I'm saying this again. This is your life and nobody else's life. Just look at yourself Look at the people around you. Do you look the same like them? Well, it's like a couple that start to look like each other, right? At a specific age. The guy start looking like okay, I have to think about my words because I don't want to get banned or something. Now yeah, you understand what I'm trying to say. The guy starts to look like the woman starts to look like a man, and they are a couple and there's no excitement anymore. Yes, they love each other according to themselves, but this is the thing, right? At one point people get attached to each other and they think that's the whole world, that is their world. I think a little bit different, a lot different actually, but there is a danger in attachment. And so when I also talk about look at the friends that you have, of course maybe he lives around the block, maybe he lives in the same village, you will bump into each other, but still you can cut him out like cancer. If that's necessary for you not to regret life after 40 years, then do it. And then of course again, yeah, but then I don't have friends. I'm gonna say this: cut out the cancer, it makes place for healthy cells. You need to replace the old with the new. You have to replace the negative to get the positive. If you're not willing to pay the price, yeah, then you better just face regret. I don't regret anything. Did I do a lot of things wrong? Did I make a lot of mistakes? Boatloads. But I know all my mistakes, all my flaws, all my vices that I had. Like I said, this year, 31st of August, stopped drinking alcohol. Still feeling drunk, because I'm drunk on life, high on life. I just continue like this guy Obelix from Obelix and Asterix. So anyway, this is your life. And this is another thing. When it's about your spouse, yeah, you think, wait a minute, I need to check how much battery. Oh, that's another thing about this camera. Not gonna promote this one. When it's about your spouse, no matter how close you are, the majority of people are not really happy. Everybody knows, because otherwise they wouldn't sit on a restaurant table shouting at their children and eating pizza and playing with their phones. I said this also in previous vlog, I only know 3 couples that are very, very, very motivating each other, highly grateful for each other, and also speak about it. They're also not the feasibly vocal people in public, that the guy melts away like a candle. That's another thing. I also talked about this in another clip, a video. Hey, guys who get all goosey moosey when they are in public with their girlfriend, and then that is all nice to be in love, but those people are not focused on growth. They're not focused on. And for me, I would never get into business with those people anymore. Before, I did business with so many people, and of course that bit me in the ass. You don't want to know. That's why I'm also setting the filters, speak about those filters, all the red flags that I mentioned so far in all my vlogs. They are simply based upon each characteristic that I talked about. One of them, I also made a whole series about deception. Those people I would never start a business with or a project with. Not anymore. In the past I did. I thought, okay, that is a one-time event. But that's another thing. People don't have singularity, let's say, outbursts. People who are very, I don't know what, they are enthusiastic and they forget about it. There was another guy 2 weeks ago, he mentioned, starting a business. And then how did it? I don't remember actually, because he mentioned a business. I said yes, I'm willing to do the research on it. Oh yeah, and then he had to check for some prices, and then the next week I asked him, but he didn't check for the prices. See, there you already go. That is a really short burst of, oh, you know what? Let's do this project. Are you interested? I better just know what I prefer. is that people just say, I'm not going to do anything with it now, but I would like to know if you would be interested in the future. I would, that is a whole different way of approaching people, right? Also, people say just so quickly, speak about things, and you know, in the past, I'm gonna talk about one of my flaws. People were enthusiastic, let's do this project, let's do this project. I was going the next 24 hours into it, bam, 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 bam. And then when the project was rolling, see, and that's a danger also, eh? When a project is rolling, a business venture or whatever, and the other guy lost already his motivation, but you go local like a locomotive, you know, and then things go bananas with the project. Who's left with the problems? You. In this case, moi. Many cases. I went also 3 times homeless. And not, see, if you watch my vlogs multiple times per week and you will say, yeah, I already heard that story. But I'm talking to you, the guy or girl who hasn't watched my vlogs before. So anyway, you know, I lived a very colorful life, and I just want to share my experiences, my thoughts, my 2 cents based upon real life. Not that I pulled things out of a book. Let's get a little bit back to the university things. I know people who had failed businesses go and lecture people on schools how to set up businesses and you know, talk about economics. Read from a book that is already over more than 10 years old, and then you, as a little group of students, have to make some kind of project around what this guy says from the book. So what do you think you're gonna end up? There are other ways, of course, to approach it. See, I talk with a lot of teachers. That's another thing. Surprise, surprise, MF. Yeah, but those people where I'm actually in general on a regular basis talk with are very open-minded. They talk about the flaws in systems. They talk about what they actually try to implement in their approach with their jobs. See, when I also say in my vlogs 9 to 5 people, that is all. No, I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but there are simply better ways to think about stuff. That's what I think. I think also change in the outside world around you starts from you inside. And I think to start change inside you, you have to become very realistic in the first, and not only realistic, honest to yourself in the first place. I know so many people over the years, they start building up stacks of, you know, deceiving themselves. I know. I talk with those people, and they change the stories. And I think it's a sad thing, because I can see where they go. Yeah, they build a little family, you know, sit around the fireplace with Christmas, and then go to their families. Very, very happy. But in the meantime, they build a whole stack of lies. And that says something, right? And I'm not talking down on anybody. I don't have emotional attachment to anything, what I'm actually also saying. But what I'm actually emotional attached to is your life. You know, that you open your eyes and you think, no, yeah, this guy or this girl that I kept so long around me is not the best girl or guy to keep around. Because he or she doesn't make me so good, feel good multiple times per day, maybe multiple times per week, or every time when you call, they don't pick up, or send a message, they don't respond, or it takes days, but when they respond to you, see, there is an imbalance. Look at the imbalance of relationships, and that those are all untouchable things, but they're very important to create your outside world. Because if you feel a little bit disrupted, a little bit emotional about this guy or girl doesn't treat me very well or disrespects me, and still you keep them around, get rid of them. This is your life. This is your life. It influences your whole outside world, your cells in your body. Everything is connected, right? Your body is, I don't know what, I'm not a doctor, but I think it's around 70% water. And you know, you put water in a big drum and you hit it with a fucking bat, you know, ripple effects. And I think that's the same with feelings, you know. Maybe that's also one of the reasons that people cry, right? Oh, this is also totally not true. But let's imagine it like this. Let's do a little imaginary thing. Let's say you are 70% of water, and then you feel negative and disrupted and ripples all the way, and that's why water is flowing out of your eyes, because you don't feel good. Imagine it like this. That's something that you want to prevent. You don't want that other people make you feel bad. But that's another thing. If you give negative feedback to somebody else, but then also back it up, the why. And there's also a lot of people that I know, let's say it like this, with all the respect, and to my step-parents, they died a long time ago, and I respect them in a very high level. And my father is over here, my stepfather is over here, tattooed, over here, my stepmother is over here. Anyway, besides that, what was I going with this thing? And people, and that they don't make you feel bad. If you let other people make you feel bad, then you start crying. And then I went all of a sudden to the step-parents. Oh yeah, here we go. I remember the day that my father, and he said this with the best intention. He said, you know, never use drugs, because otherwise I'm gonna do this and this. See, of course, I'm not saying that drugs is good, but I'm using this as an example. But he never said the whys. I used boatloads of drugs, and at one point he also knew. But the thing is, I can now tell the reasons why. I'm gonna tell you exactly why you should not use drugs. Does it open your mind? I do believe that. But where is the danger, especially when you're in that you want to develop yourself, you want to grow businesses and all that kind of stuff? You sink very quickly with people, because you let's say you're doing a couple of days ecstasy. You're on the same level with people that you never would level with. That is, for me, that was one of the main reasons also that I also like to use drugs, just sitting in the room and I want to explore my mind. I was always focused on that kind of stuff. I also spent a lot of time with other people, but you know, those relationships actually only existed because, you know, use cocaine, use drugs, blah blah blah. Just saying, that is for me the main reason and the main warning, besides the physical things. I use boatloads of drugs, boatloads, and I'm not bragging over here, but the thing is, the main danger is that you're gonna ruin yourself by gathering the wrong people around you. You gather the wrong people around you, you also attract opportunities that should never be there, that could also never be there, they're all fabricated. And not only this, if you go outside this and that you're sober again, and then you still move into the projects, and not in the projects, for the people who live, you understand. But you know, you're dealing with weak people. It's nice to entertain yourself, go to a party, you swallow a couple of things, and then you have a nice time, and that's it. But if you think you're gonna build solid relationships based upon that, no. So that is also something. You lose time, maybe lose a lot of money, and so I'm giving you a lot of why not use it. There are some benefits, but I'm not going to promote over here some drug things. So I'm just saying, and who is in the end, who you want to keep around. Use some of the red flag warnings. I do believe that let's say it like this, for the people who say, yeah, but Alan, what do you know actually about people? Now see, I'm doing this for a long time. I lived a very colorful life. I'm not going too deep into everything now. I think it's also, when it's about speaking about, let's say, the red flags, most people maybe can hear that I've been there, done that. Because if you also, a very nice example, and that's again about people in suits. And I saw, and I got nothing against those people who are 100% authentic, right? And if you watch my previous, I'm always love authentic people. But people who put up a daily facade, you know, the daily mask, the daily suit, and then in the night they are the abusive husband. They sneer their wives. They cannot control even the dogs, you know. So there's something wrong. But one guy, and he was recording some kind of promotional video on the bridge in a suit, and I could see it. The way he and you know, he was then looking at his phone, so he needs to read up the stuff. So he's not living it, right? Whatever he's talking about, he's not living it. Let's say the majority of real estate people, if you watch the especially over here, the incredibly boring videos, they not believe in the product. They don't believe in their own service. And not only that, and I'm not talking down on those people. Maybe some of those real estate people that can actually become a little bit more, you know, obsessed with it, you know, just love what you're doing. And I'm saying again this, and it's not only about real estate people. There's a lot of people who need to read from a script. They need to repeat multiple times like a robot, so other people maybe believe it, you know, maybe in the hope that they believe it. And I am a big believer in tonality and everything, and real authentic behavior of people. And I think that's the kind of people you want to be around. And of course there are levels, and that people, and you're not saying I can sync with a lot of people, but there is a majority, there is a lining in it. First of all, most people, especially when they get a little bit closer, they live some sort of level of colorful life. Especially, let's talk about a little bit my exes. All my exes, they had an interesting life, which made them also authentic, very approachable, let's say, to my friends. That's also some, hey, there's another thing. My exes, especially in the past, but the last, from the past years, I kept them a little bit away from people. Also, you know, there's not a lot of people who get in contact with them, because that is another thing. I also kept a lot of people around that shouldn't be there. Let's say it like this. Also caused troubles in my relationships. Anyway, I wasn't also in the best mental state, so I was part of the deal of ruining my previous relationships. And if you're watching this, there are two sides, two sides of the coin, and I admit it. You know, at this moment, I'm also I haven't dated anybody for a couple of weeks already. Very honest about it. I'm also taking my time, you know, filtering people. It's another thing, and I'm also going to close this vlog. I need to see how long this vlog is. 43 minutes. And when it's about choosing a direction of, let's say, a possible life partner, I also talked about this before. The young people who say, yeah, this is my second girlfriend and this is my everything. I don't believe that you can make her happy in the fullest amount, capacity. No, because, and that's another thing, how mature it can be a relationship. And in the beginning, when you're young, maybe you giggle a little bit, you know, the guy gets all goosey moosey, acts like a woman. Oh, that's actually an interesting thing. Yesterday also I saw a guy. Okay, so imagine this. A woman sits over here and a guy was over here, but he was with his two legs, no, with one leg over his woman like this and holding her like this. And that is something that I think, yeah, you're the man, sees the woman, and it's not about that she has to hug you, but a guy who acts like a woman, I think there's a lot of work to do about this character, about his character. You know, you could also see no discipline, and you can see it, right? No matter what. And by the way, if you're already fed up with my whole talk and now it gets very real about how somebody looks like or presents himself, no, it's not about being negative. It's about that you look in the mirror and you say, no, I could lose a few pounds, and then you ask your spouse, and he or she says, yeah, but you're sexy the way you are, and then when we get married, do you mind if I hire a couple of strippers? See, that wouldn't really, I would say there's something wrong. So how close can you live to reality, but also the people that you gather around, how real you can be to them? I got at the moment a very close, 100% straightforward circle. We speak to each other, but I built this circle by setting finally the boundaries. I said finally because I never had those boundaries. Oh yeah, you won't. I'm gonna give you an example. At one point I was so fucking hammered, and it's not about that I was always hammered. The thing is, in the past I lived in a house, invited all the homeless people in the weekend, and at one point all my so-called friends were around. I gave away everything I had. Gold, I had hangers on my chain, I gave away watches, and not only this, I gave away once plates, all kind of forks and all that kind of stuff. And then one of my exes, she's a long time ex, she came home from her work, and then she said, are you fucking crazy? Which I do understand now. At that time I got a little bit offended by it, but she was right. So, boundaries. Did I have them? No. No, I didn't have any boundaries. I'm like I was always like a really wild dog chasing the tires, of the car. And it doesn't matter which car came. And so the car, imagine that like an opportunity of a person, boom, non-stop. And I'm very, very honest about that. The thing is, now I got the boundaries, now I built this, and that was what I talk about, and we're relentlessly honest to each other, and that's the most beautiful thing. I'm gonna give you one example. I sitting with one guy, he is a legend in one country. I'm not gonna say who it is. He's 60 plus years. I got a very honest relationship with him. I even got a room over there. Next to that, the thing is, he said, because he's also a very authentic guy, he lives on his own rules, and he also said he always tries to do the best to people, even when he doesn't know them. And then he says, and then he's a little bit disappointed the way they reacted, and I always tell him, never expect anything. Next to that, when he shouts in the best way possible, genuine. And then he says, okay, I don't care. I said, yes, you do care. That's why you talk about it. But the thing is, to me, you can. But never expect anything. And, I also tell him, and try to keep a little bit your boundaries. And then he says, yeah, right. So I'm just going to give you a very real live example, the way we treat each other. When other people say, yeah, I know this guy. Oh, yeah, you sit with him on the table, you do breakfast together or whatever. You got, how deep is your relationship with people? Wait a minute, huh? I need to see. 48 minutes. I'm speaking now. You know what? I like it. I'm also when it's about speaking. This is going to be a vlog. So when it's about vlogs, so I got the series. So if you're watching this for the first time, .com Baron has series, has vlogs and shorts. And I got separate live stream YouTube channel, and I got a separate shorts channel. And it's not about that I'm creating all kind of channels and to get a lot of eyeballs on me, and like a lot of people do. They got tons of different channels with weird names, and in the end it's all the same with the same team. YouTube algorithm, I'm speaking from the heart. I'm not fabricating anything with AI. I'm not cutting and editing everything so I look like a fucking princess on a unicorn, on a white unicorn flying between the hills, and that I'm the most perfect human being in the planet. No, everything is raw, real, unedited, and yeah, that's the way it is. So YouTube algorithm, if you hear me, grant me a little bit followers, and if you're one of those followers, Thank you for it. Maybe you can give me a little bit thumbs up so you can help me out. What do I give in return? If you give me some thumbs up or thumbs down, I will take it both in the most grateful way, because action is a little bit of interaction, and interaction is a little bit engagement. Highly appreciated. Yeah, let's cut this vlog, right? Try to live as authentic as possible. Keep your circle clean. Don't be afraid to cut out people. Will only do your life better. Probably, hey, you feel a little bit bad about, oh yeah, but I know this guy for such a long, or this girl for such a long time, and now I don't have any friends. Well, think about this. Keep the wrong people around, or the wrong friends around. You will not have any friends anyways. So whether you with a bad friend or without any friends, I think it's better without any friends for a little amount of time. Because there's another thing, right? Maybe there's a little bit of wound in your soul because you miss this person. Get over it, train, put in the disciplines, so you become better, you know, you look better, you feel healthier, you vibrate better energy into the world, and then you attract people with higher energy, with better intention, maybe a little bit more progressed in life than the friends than you already had. Do I tell everybody to get rid of their current friends? No, not at all. But if people, and I'm just saying, you know, if people make you feel bad in your gut, you know, why did he say this now again? Why this, or he or she, you know? Think about it. Really listen to your gut. And the older people get, to say, no, yeah, you know, then then we're losing this child feeling, the curiosity. You're gonna lose everything. No, open your eyes. Eh? Open your eyes. Look at the beauty over here. Maybe no, yeah, I will make a little video, maybe a little trailer later. But the thing is, open your eyes. Everything is beautiful enough. And if you think you got nothing, and I'm gonna tell you this, and then I'm gonna close this clip. Everybody has fucking nothing. Let's talk to the normal people. If you got a roof above your head, if you have 100% for sure a pillow under your head, plus a blanket later before you go to bed, you live like a king. Next to that, let's go a little bit deeper. You know your real parents. You look in the mirror, you see your father or your mother. Maybe you think he or she is an asshole. Then change your attitude. It's not about them. As long as they didn't rape you, you got nothing to complain about. Once in a while, a good smack in the face. Probably you deserved it. And next to that, take it as a lesson. Build that character. Right? So appreciate what you got, cut out the cancer, and open your eyes. Try to find that child in you again. You know, peel off that elephant skin away, tick, 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 one by one, and give yourself also a little bit time, but put in a little bit of discipline. I also recorded the 1 minute exercise, a 1 minute exercise that trains your whole fucking body. I do it in 45 seconds. Sometimes when I'm not around the calisthenic spots, I do 100 per day. You start just with 1 per day. You're doing already more than you would do that you're probably doing now. 1 per day, 1 minute. Do you have 1 minute? Yeah, probably you watch television. When it's about television, I watched last year, the last time that I watched television, 35 minutes television. I talked about this multiple times. Maybe you get already sick of it, but the thing is, everybody has 30 minutes. That's what I want to say with this. And you can do 5 minutes of a little bit of exercise. And I'm showing it you exactly. Just to go to the playlist Calisthenics and Hupplepup. Calisthenics, I think that's the name of the playlist. You can see the 1 minute exercise. Does your whole body, you're not exhausting yourself by only doing it one time. And I'm also giving away the structure, how to do it. You know, I'm gonna give it to you now. Let's assume you never did anything in your life. Do 1 per day for the next 7 days. Don't do more when you feel heroic. You know, this was so easy. But the thing is, then the next week, the next 7 day to day 14, you do it 2 times. Then 14 till 21, you do it 3 times a day, you know, relentlessly, and you build it up until you do 10 a day. Then you stuck a little bit on it, because this is the danger. Days off that kind of talk, those people want to keep you just fat. Personal trainers, they will tell you, oh, take a day off, you know, so you can grow a little bit, you can come back to me. And while you're taking days off, taking all the powders and the things that you don't need, because when I see I see also multiple personal trainers on a regular basis, and I see how they treat their customers. And I'm not saying that everybody's bad, but the majority of people, they would say take a day off, and I would say never take a day off. If you feel a little bit exhausted, then do maybe a little bit less. But you know what? The main thing is to keep your brain going. See, my vlogs are all about mindset, be resilient between the years, so you can vibrate the best energy and give the best engagement and experiences with the people around you. You know, so you engage with the world in the most authentic way. And along the years, you will grow this, and you get maybe obsessed with me. With me, I mean with life, like me. By the way, when it's, oh no, we're not getting into this. Don't stick to what we were doing. Actually, we were actually going through to the end. It's already 1 hour of talk, so that's it. That's Monday. Think about the things that I said. Maybe do a thumbs up, follow me, share it with your friends. You know, and this is also something that what I want to do. I want to give away. Oh yeah, at the moment the e-store is closed because I'm rebuilding everything. Just follow me. Wait a minute, also follow me on Instagram, because on Instagram I do daily stories, a lot of stories. Maybe also a lot of stuff to think about. I think if you're also constantly in the same, let's say 9 to 5 routine, you maybe also get a little bit discouraged about life, that you think this is it. And I'm trying to say things also on my Instagram account, one of the Instagram accounts. You know, I'm trying to share things that maybe sparks your brain a little bit. Maybe you think, hey, that's not such a bad idea. Maybe you think, yeah, all those hundreds of posts is all bullshit. Okay, but at least you had a thought about it. Anyway, let's cut. Yeah, that's it. You live only once. That's the only thing what I want to say. You want to live a better life? Follow me.